Welcome back to the Salty Goddess podcast, where the truth has teeth, bullshit gets called out, and I refuse to let grifters have the last word. I'm Ann Margaret Perry, your salty, savage, unfiltered guide to cutting through all the bullshit and all the noise. In today's episode, we're going to discuss a certain breed of online presence. They call themselves educators, keepers of the faith, keepers of tradition, truth tellers, and they claim they're protecting your space, your culture, your history, your values, your childhood, your memories. But the truth is, my friends, they're not protecting shit. They're lying. They're full of crap. They're cheating. And they're stealing. They're stealing not just money, but joy, even representation, creativity from anyone who dares to tell a different kind of story. So what am I talking about? Well, these people are professional outrage farmers. Their business model is extremely simple. Find a movie, a series, or a game that dares to recast a hero as someone outside the traditional mold. As soon as this happens, these individuals claim it's an attack. It's not a story. It's not creative choice, but simply an attack on our childhood, on our values, on the way things were, even on male and female traditional roles. Or dare I say, even on, the healthy American family, which is a bit of a laugh if you ask me, because no family is truly completely healthy. All right. They package this outrage into a video or a clip. They'll slap a thumbnail on it with angry red arrows, and they'll sit back while the clicks roll in. And here's the kicker, friends. Each and every one of those clicks is cash. Every angry share is more ad revenue for these jackholes. Every fake controversy sells more merch and drives more affiliate links and lines their pockets with cash, while they flame, or I should say, while they take their time to fan the flames of divisiveness in our country, to divide the sexes, the genders, the races, the religions, and income brackets as well. These are not culture warriors. They are clickbait merchants. And their currency isn't truth. It's your emotional reaction. And I'll bet you're wondering why we're having this conversation this week. Well, as you've heard in a couple of the past episodes, I've brought up individuals who have spoken to me about something during the week, and it made me think, well, shit, that'll make a great episode. So here we are. Let me explain to you what I mean. You're watching a movie or a TV show, and traditionally, movies and TV shows have a male hero and a damsel in distress. And they need to be rescued. Well, that was the way it was in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and go on and on and on through the 1900s into the early 2000s. And then people started saying, hey, what about representation? Why are we only seeing white males, black males, African American males as the hero of every single movie? And why is the woman always in distress, always the damsel that needs to be rescued? Why do we not have any female heroes, Asian heroes, homosexual heroes? Why is this? Well, because, of course, it's an attack on our culture, on our religion, on our society, on our family unit. Well, I'm here to tell you it's bullshit. It's not an attack. We're not here to tell any group of individuals that they are no longer of value. And if you go back in my episodes, you'll hear me talk about value and what makes you valuable. And I promise you, it's not a damn movie. May I tell you all and remind you all, fiction, books, movies, comic books, stories are meant for entertainment. Why are you so invested in a fictional character? You should be invested in real characters, the history that you never received because it was written by the victors. How about that? How about we didn't hear about African American women who did the calculations with paper and pencil for Apollo 13 to get them back to this planet safely? What about that? Or what about the story that Custer was this hero when in fact he attacked an entire village when all the men were gone and there were no weapons, and he killed women and children instead? And when the men found out, they were so enraged, they hunted him down and killed him. Think about that for a minute. Why did we hear a false narrative about Pat Tillman? Why are we not told the truth about our supposed heroes? Because that's just it. It's all for marketing, for, optics, for a PR moment. Friends, stop being led around by the nose. Since when do we want someone to tell us how to feel? I don't want anybody telling me how to feel. I want to feel my own feelings. I do what I want. And I have since I was a very small child. I will tell you that right now. And my mama told me so, not just a couple years before she passed away. All right? That I'd been stomping my foot since I was about 2 years old and crying out that I would do what I wanted. No one could tell me what to do. Why are you all falling into this trap? Coming at me having this conversation that they've put women in heroic roles with the purpose to emasculate men and put them in their place and make them look like buffoons. I'm really sorry, y'all. That is not what is happening here at all. It is representation. Young boys and girls need to know and need that visual representation that anyone can do anything they put their mind to, within, of course, the realm of their physical capabilities. You understand me, okay? But to say to individuals, you can't be in the fire service because you're a woman. You can't fly a plane because you're black. Because you can't do this because bull fucking shit. Do you understand me? That is bullshit. And you've got some whacked out podcaster telling you that they changed around your comic book heroes to be a gay female or a gay male just to screw you over is bullshit. Stop being so invested in fictional characters. What the hell is wrong with you? And trust me when I tell you, I've been hearing this. I remember when they remade this Star Trek series and they remade this Star Wars series. Let me tell you something, okay? Star Wars was the very first movie I ever saw at the movie theater that I remember, okay? I remember coming home. My godmother had taken me to see Star Wars A New Hope, as it's now known. And I remember coming home, and it was after dark, and my daddy said to me, "So, Ann Margaret, what did you think of that movie?" I was like, 7 or 8 years old? And I looked at my father all wide-eyed and said, "Daddy, I told you there were other people on other planets, didn't I? I told you that, Daddy." I was so thrilled with space and science fiction at a young age. And I remember my dad laughing at me. But friends, I was 8, all right? And like every other young lady or anybody who was attracted to young boys at the time, if you were, gay or whatever, we were all in love with Luke Skywalker. Oh, absolutely. All right. Then we grow up and we gain a better understanding of our microcosm and macrocosm. Okay. And I listened to people complain about Star Trek and the bridge didn't look right and Star Wars and how, the people that are now writing it, screwed it all up. Who gives a shit? It was meant to be entertainment. Why are you so upset that something is different? Why can't you be comfortable with different things? It's a fucking movie, for God's sake. It's not legislature. That's what you should be worried about at our ages. Okay? That's it. There was a time when African American actors and actresses weren't allowed on stage, on film. That was okay then? That's what they did then? No, it wasn't okay. But it is what was happening. So now today, we have roles that historically were filled by white actors and actresses that are now being filled by African American and Asian and, Filipino, all of them. What is wrong with that? Y'all are a bunch of jackholes that are complaining about this. It's fucking ridiculous. You should be complaining about our tax dollars not fixing the fucking potholes. Y'all, you should be complaining about gun violence. You should be complaining about illiterate kids graduating from high school. But instead, you're listening to some reject saying that this is all being done to lower your station. As a man, as a white man, as a heterosexual man, I had this discussion over the course of the last week or so. And someone said to me, well, they shouldn't be depicting, alternative lifestyles. Well, then I guess they shouldn't be depicting mainstream lifestyles either. So if there shouldn't be a gay couple, then there definitely shouldn't be a heterosexual couple either. Why shouldn't people be able to see representations of what they live? What the hell is wrong with all of you? I'm so so unhappy having these conversations. I do not care what you believe. I don't. I want you to believe what you wish. And I want you to be happy. I promise you, the whole purpose of making movies is to earn money. Why would they then ostracize an entire gender? Those are lost ticket sales. Y'all are stupid. Y'all are stupid if you really believe that's what's happening. Their goal is to spend money, make money, but to make more money than what they spent. But you're going to listen to some pea-brained loser with a microphone or with a platform who's going to tell you that this is what an entire industry is doing. Somebody has got some amazing crack, and I wish they'd start fucking sharing it, okay? Because I promise you, that is not what is going on. And when you think about the economics of making a movie, putting on a live play, what? Selling a book? What the hell is wrong with you? Open your eyes and see that the narrative is such that that's not what's happening. And just like me, someone has a platform and is opening their mouths and has shit to say. Now, it makes sense to you. So why would it not be accurate? It's not accurate. Ask any director, ask any actor or actress. What was your goal in your message in taking this part? And I promise you, not a single one of them is going to say anything other than it's art. I'm here to make money. This is my job. Period. You all are literally all on a massive crack pipe if you think differently. So I would ask you to kindly set that motherfucker down and back away slowly. I beg you. That is not what's going on. But while they've got you distracted and looking over here at your manhood and getting you all triggered and all emotional with a bunch of lies and bullshit, you should be looking over here at legislation, at what's going on in your town and city councils, what's going on in your county, and stop worrying about that jackhole in a fucking movie. Because at the end of the day, does it really impact your income, your home life? I will tell you how it's impacting you. It is literally robbing you of your joy. You can't even watch a movie or a TV show or anything because you're constantly searching for that aha moment, that, see, there it is. And it's not even what's happening. Why would you want to be in that state of mind? When I watch a movie, I want to be either educated or entertained. Okay? Or, and I mean, as a subset of entertainment, laughing, right? Crying. I mean, I don't know anybody who wants to cry, but that's what you want. You don't want to be angry, triggered, set off by something that's not even happening. I will tell you, men and women and everyone in between, they all get nauseated. They all puke. They all get diarrhea. They all have weaknesses. They all have soft spots. Every single fucking one of us has them. There is not a single person, there is not a single being on this planet that doesn't have every emotion, from happiness to sadness, elation, joy, thrill, excitement, love, hate, all of it. Anyone who denies those things is lying to themselves, lying to you, and they are not living their authentic selves, their authentic lives. Our lives are so damn short and unpredictable. Why would you want to live like that? Why? I don't get it. Why would you want to waste your time not being your true self, living your authentic self? It is true. I walk into a room. I do not give a shit if a single person in that room, quote unquote, likes me. Because my day is not built around other people's feelings. My day is built around my drive, my ambition, my motivation, and my accomplishments. And whether or not I got to have chocolate that day. I love chocolate. That's what your life should be. And I don't understand the rest of it. I really don't. Look around to the people that truly matter to you. Dare I say your own children and grandchildren think you're a hero? They don't need to see you do anything like what's in the movies. Every day, you are most likely a hero to someone. It just doesn't get spoken about openly because we don't have those conversations. The man who stepped up to the plate and helped rear and raise children that he did not create with his own semen and sperm. Specifically, I should say sperm because semen only carries the sperm. So let me be, physiologically accurate here. The man who works 2 full-time jobs to provide for children that he is not biologically related to. That's a hero in my books. The father who was told he had 6 weeks to live, 2 years to live. And he said, the hell I do. I've got things to do and I'm going nowhere until I get them done. And he did, in fact, live well beyond the 2 years and that 6 weeks. Those are heroes. The person who always does what's right, no matter how hard. It is not the person necessarily who makes all the money. It's not the person that donates $5 million to some organization. But the everyday hero, the one who gives love without any hesitation. I don't get this whole that there's a whole measurement that other people believe that they should apply to complete strangers to determine someone else's worth. That's not how this shit works, people. And I'm sad for y'all that fall for this shit. Because those individuals are liars, cheats, and thieves. They're thieving from industries by lying about their motivations, and then individuals won't purchase a ticket. It's fucking entertainment. That's what it is. Why are you so invested in a fictional character? Why are these people that you're listening to on podcasts and TikTok videos and reels and all the rest of it, why are you listening to these individuals that you do not know, that are really just sowing divisiveness amongst the citizenry of this nation? You must immediately look to that and say, yeah, that doesn't sound right to me. Why would anybody want to do that when they're making a movie? Why would they want to ostracize half the population, potentially? They don't. But this jackhole had, a platform and a microphone, not unlike me, and got on here and decided to say some shit, and y'all fell for it. And now you got a bunch of angry people walking around. That's not the situation. I promise you. And even if it was, even if that was their point, do you really believe that the people that are in your sphere care that that's what their point was? Or do you think that young children, youngsters, boys and girls, are watching these movies and they're just being entertained? Because I promise you, ask an 8-year-old when they're watching a remake of Star Wars or Star Trek, if they're thinking about any of those cultural impacts. Ask them when they are in their 20s how they felt watching those, when they say, I never saw a person of my color, my religion, my race, my gender represented. That's what you guys should be thinking about here. Because at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what religion you ascribe to, or if you don't ascribe to one. But all this shit and saying that others that don't believe exactly what you believe are less than and should be, kicked out, pushed away. What the fuck? Is that even what your religion tells you? You jackholes. You're weaponizing entertainment. You're weaponizing religion, which is, by the way, really supposed to bring conformity, laws, and community. That's what religion is for. Okay? Because I promise you, I don't give a shit what happens after I'm dead. Pretty sure I'll be dead. Okay? Maybe instead of worrying about what everybody else is doing, y'all might want to start worrying about yourselves. Remember, thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. If you're doing that, you're a jackhole. Ain't nobody want to be hanging with that. Nobody wants a part of that. You're into vengeance and revenge for slights that didn't even take place. It's because you got an ego problem and you ain't all that. That's why. Because if you were confident in who you are, people couldn't slate you because their opinion wouldn't matter. So just remember this, okay? Representation is important for everybody, and it's fucking entertainment. Entertainment. Fiction. You shouldn't be so invested in characters that aren't real. All right? So, recasting characters as a different sex, a different gender, a different color of skin, all right, or an alternative, as you like to say, lifestyle is not erasing or damaging your childhood. Get over it. Okay? It's ridiculousness. Always on the outlook for something ugly to be going on. And ain't no ugly nothing happening. Not an ounce of it. So cut that shit out. All right? Fiction is supposed to be a mirror, a playground for ideas. It's not meant to be a weapon to bludgeon those that don't have the same beliefs that you do. And yet you call yourself, an educator. I'm just here to tell you what's really happening. You swing fictional characters like clubs in a culture war. You believe that changing the gender or race of a fictional hero is rewriting sacred scripture, which is hilarious. Okay? But you base your life on a book written thousands of years ago. Come on. Stories evolve because society evolves. We evolve. And when you turn our evolution into a target for outrage, you are sabotaging art. Okay? You're misinforming the public and stealing joy and happiness and even relaxation. Okay? Art's not a threat. The real threat here, my friends, is the jackhole making you afraid of it. So, here's my bottom line. When you knowingly lie about a piece of art to stir up outrage, you're the problem, not the art. If you profit from a lie while damaging the people who you're lying about, and in this case, we're talking about those that have made the art, you're a cheat. And when you steal the joy of those trying to experience that art, you're a thief. And if that offends you, it's because I just described your whack business model. So, this week, I challenge each of you, when you listen to these jackholes, look at it critically what they're saying and know that all they're trying to do is play you like a guitar and get you to click and share and make them more money, all while attempting to steal money from real artists. Well, my friends, let me know how your week turned out. I am the Salty Goddess, Anne Margaret Perry. And if you're tired of these fake educators, share this episode with somebody who needs to hear it. And maybe we can stop these jerks from ruining movies, books, comic books. All right? You guys have a great week. Stay salty, stay savage, stay authentic. I'll see y'all next week for our Hump Day drop on Wednesday.